The first time I saw her, she was standing in the center of a battlefield that wasn't supposed to exist. It was a mining colony, Sector Epsilon 9, light years from Earth, buried inside a dead asteroid belt. No one expected conflict here. No one expected war. And certainly, no one expected her. The emergency beacon had dragged me there. I was a salvage pilot, nothing more. Someone who made a living scavenging the remains of forgotten stations and broken ships. When I arrived, I thought I'd find wreckage, maybe survivors. Instead, I found silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that presses against your ears until your heart starts beating too loud. My boots crunched against metal debris as I stepped out of my ship. The colony dome was shattered, its transparent shell torn open like something had clawed its way inside, or out. "Hello," I called, my voice echoing in the vacuum through my suit's comm relay. Nothing. Then I saw movement. At the center of the colony square, where the miners used to gather, stood a figure. She was wrong. Not in the grotesque sense. In fact, she was almost human, tall, slender, her armor sleek and reflective like liquid metal. But her presence bent the air itself. Light warped around her, like reality couldn't quite agree on her shape. And in her hand was a blade, not a physical one. It shimmered, like a fracture in space, humming with a sound I felt in my bones more than heard. She turned her head slowly, as if sensing me before seeing me. Our eyes met. And that's when everything went wrong. "You shouldn't be here," she said. Her voice didn't come through my comms. It was inside my head. I staggered slightly, grabbing the side of my helmet. What are you?" "I ask you first." There was no anger in her tone. Just curiosity. Cold, precise curiosity. "I got a distress signal," I said. "This colony. What happened here?" She looked around, almost absent-mindedly, like she'd forgotten where she was. "They resisted." "Resisted what?" Her gaze snapped back to me. Me. Before I could react, she moved. 1 second, she was 30 meters away. The next, she was right in front of me. I didn't see her cross the distance. I didn't even feel the air move. Just there. My instinct screamed. I stumbled back, nearly falling, but she didn't attack. Instead, she studied me, her head tilting slightly. "You're different," she said. "Different from what?" "The others." I swallowed. "You mean the people you killed?" She didn't answer. That was answer enough. I should have run. Any sane person would have. But something about her, something beyond the fear, kept me rooted in place. "Why?" I asked. She blinked. "Why what? Why kill them?" Her expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. They interfered. With what? My mission. And what mission requires wiping out an entire colony? She paused. For a long moment, the only sound was the distant creak of the broken station. Then she said, "Containment." The word sent a chill down my spine. Containment of what? Her grip tightened slightly on the blade. Me. I didn't understand. Not fully. But I understood enough to know I was in danger. "Look," I said carefully, raising my hand slightly. "I'm not part of whatever this is. I just came to help. I can leave." "You can't." "Why not?" "Because you've seen me." That wasn't good. I took a step back. She took a step forward. The blade in her hand flickered. "I don't want to kill you," she said. "That's comforting. But I will, if necessary." Also comforting. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then something unexpected happened. Her eyes flicked past me, behind me, and for the first time, her expression changed. Concern. I turned. At the edge of the colony, something was moving. No, someone. No, something else entirely. Figures emerged from the shadows of the broken structures. Tall, skeletal shapes, their bodies made of jagged, shifting fragments of metal and energy. I felt my breath hitch. "What are those?" I whispered. "They're here," she said quietly. "You mean with you?"
No.
There was a hint of something new in her voice.
Fear.
They followed me. The creatures moved fast. Too fast. One moment, they were distant silhouettes. The next, they were charging toward us, their forms distorting with every step. My instincts kicked in. "Get back," I shouted, reaching for the small plasma cutter at my side. She didn't move. Instead, she stepped forward, between me and them. "They're not your enemy," she said. "Oh, that's great, because they look very friendly." "They're mine." That stopped me. "What?" "I brought them here." I stared at her. "You brought those things here?" "Yes." "And you're telling me they're not the problem?" "They are the problem." I blinked. "That doesn't make sense." "It doesn't have to." The first creature lunged. She moved like lightning. Her blade cut through the air, slicing the creature cleanly in half.
But it didn't die.
The two halves writhed, twisting, reforming into separate entities. "Okay," I said, backing up. "That's new."
They adapt, she said.
"Yeah, I noticed." Another creature attacked from the side. She spun, blocking it effortlessly, but more were coming. Too many. "You said you were containing them," I shouted. "I was." "Well, you're not doing a great job anymore."
She didn't respond.
For the first time, she looked overwhelmed. And that's when it happened. One of the creatures broke past her defense line. It came straight for me. I raised my plasma cutter, firing blindly, but the beam passed through it like it wasn't even there. It lunged. I braced for impact. And suddenly she was there, between me and the creature. Her blade clashed with its jagged form, sending a shockwave through the ground. But this one was different. Stronger. Faster. It pushed her back. And then, it struck. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I just moved. The creature's strike wasn't aimed at me. It was aimed at her. And for the first time, she couldn't block it in time.
So I stepped in.
And I grabbed her blade. Barehanded. The moment my skin touched it, everything exploded. Not physically. Mentally. My vision shattered into fragments of light and memory. I saw things, impossible things, stars collapsing, worlds burning, entire civilizations erased in moments. And her. I saw her. Not as she was now, but as she had been. A weapon. A living containment unit, designed by something far beyond human understanding. Her purpose was simple. Hold the entities. Never let them escape. At any cost. Even her own existence. I screamed. Not from pain, but from the weight of it all. The blade burned in my hand, but I didn't let go. I couldn't, because in that moment I understood something she didn't. She wasn't just containing them.
She was connected to them.
And every time she fought them, she was weakening her own control. "Stop," I shouted. She looked at me, shocked. "Let go," she said. "You'll die." "No, you will." Another creature lunged. This time, I reacted first. Still holding her blade, I pulled her toward me.
The creature missed.
For a split second, everything froze. Her eyes locked onto mine. "You understand?" she whispered. "Yeah," I said, my voice shaking. "I do." One move. That's all it took. One move changed the fight. Not strength. Not power. Understanding. "Then tell me," she said, her voice softer now. "What do I do?" The creature circled us, waiting. I tightened my grip on the blade, ignoring the pain.
"You stop fighting them," I said.
"That's not possible." "It is. They'll consume everything." Not if you stop being their prison. She stared at me. Confusion.
Fear. Hope.
All at once. I don't know how, she admitted. I took a deep breath. Then I'll show you. The creatures attacked all at once. And this time, we didn't fight them. We stood still. Together. It felt insane. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to fight, to survive. But I held my ground. And she did too. The creatures slammed into us. And passed through us. Not harmlessly, but differently. Like shadows dissolving in light. She gasped. They're changing.
No, I said.
You are. The connection between her and the entities flickered, shifting from control to something else. Balance. The battlefield grew quiet. One by one, the creatures dissolved into nothingness. Not destroyed. Released. When it was over, she collapsed to her knees. I let go of the blade, my hand trembling. It should have been gone, burned, but it wasn't, just scarred, like something had marked me. What happens now? I asked. She looked up at me. For the first time, she looked human. I'm free, she said. And them? Gone. I nodded slowly. That's good, right? She hesitated. I don't know. We stood there in the ruins of the colony, the silence no longer oppressive, just quiet. What will you do? I asked. She looked at the stars. I don't have a mission anymore. That's not a bad thing. No, she said softly. It's not. She turned to me. And you? I shrugged. I guess I go back to being a salvage pilot. She smiled. It was small, but real. Not anymore. Why not? I asked. She stepped closer. Because you changed the fight. I frowned. So now you're part of something bigger. I sighed. I was afraid you'd say that. She extended her hand. Not a weapon. Not a threat. An invitation. I looked at it. Then at her. Then back at the stars. One move changed everything. Not just the fight, but what came after. I took her hand. And this time, I didn't let go. Ending. We left the ruins of Epsilon 9 behind, but the story didn't end there. It never does. In the months that followed, I learned what it truly meant to stand beside someone like her. She wasn't just free. She was undefined. No longer bound by purpose. No longer shaped by control. And somehow, that made her more dangerous, but also more alive. We traveled together, not as warrior and survivor, but as something else entirely. Two beings trying to figure out what came next. The universe is vast, and full of things far worse than what we faced that day. But now, we face them together. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes all it takes is one impossible move to change everything.